First one of many to come, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we've got a pretty special guest today. Took a bit of back and forth to get her in here. We finally got her in here, and it was actually pretty solid effort from the team, I'd say. And I actually so look, I've got for those of you who don't know me, I'm Charlie. I'm doing this podcast just basically to kind of just highlight the struggles of like the hospitality industry, and pretty much like have guests and stuff like that on there. Today we're really lucky to have this particular one. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going and keep getting guests of this caliber.
You're so nice. You're so nice to me.
So basically myself, I started off working in hospitality. I worked as a chef, worked for all kinds of colourful people. I remember I had this head chef and he was just like, yeah, I need to have a chat with you. And he goes, I was like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, you're never going to be a chef. I was like, oh, all right, cheers.
Straight down to reality.
Yeah.
Got my vibes. I want to take every meeting and make everyone's dream.
Yeah, really shit on me. So, I think I just want to express that, resonate with a few people out there that are in the industry as we gain traction. And, I guess that's my kind of vision. And just also with my guests, just kind of show that these guys are real people. Like a lot of these guests that I have got lined up are business owners, and just kind of breaking the stigma, and you have that conversation that's really Perthian, I reckon, like walking past a business and being like, yeah, I've got a friend of a friend that knows this person that runs this place, and he's a bit of a dick. And just wanted to show that these guys aren't robots. So it'd be cool. So I've got a couple of co-hosts. We've got Jake here. He works in fruit and veg. I'll get him to do a little bit of an intro on himself later.
Later now.
Sorry. I'll get around to Ash and Britt. This is Ash. So Ash is just a really good mate. She's really good at having back and forth convo.
Bit of banter.
With a microphone.
Yeah, we've actually given her a microphone inside joke with the friend group, really, because she's always wanting to cut the convo. Pretty short. So I thought I'd give her the opportunity to talk into a mic today.
Thank you very much. It's appreciated.
And we've also got Britt. Now, Britt, I'll actually let you introduce yourself, because I feel like I don't want to drop any bombs and take away your thunder, eh?
So I'm Britt. I own a company called Pretzel Australia. I own a few others actually as well. I own a cafe called Chubby Boy, another cafe called Priestess, and another coffee shop called Voodoo. Majority of my work is in WA and in Victoria, but basically, I'm like the HBIC. I run the whole thing, and my background's actually in branding. I'm from design, primarily. But during my design career, I always worked in hospo. And when I was super young, worked at a pretzel place. So, my background in hospo was kind of like business meets. Oh, I'm so sorry, that is my phone.
I thought that was my phone. Yeah. I've got 2 phones here.
My phone rings off the hook 24/7. I'm so sorry. So my background is 10% business, 80% design, and 10% hospo. But so much of what I do is hospo, and I have no intention of leaving. It's my favorite sort of area to be in.
That's not very easily said by a lot of people, I'd say.
It's tough. You have to be like a glutton for punishment.
I went away hating it, to be honest. I hated hospitality. I didn't want to go.
It is a hard industry. It's hard on a lot of fronts.
Which is so random, because it's actually the funnest
it is,
for everyone else.
If you can learn to enjoy it, true. But also if you're on that side, if you can learn to enjoy it, it's still fun for you too.
Yeah, well, it's super social.
Yeah.
I personally, I work by myself a lot of the time. So I'm chilling, hanging. Yeah. I look at my little staff and I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Look at them all hanging out and talking to each other.
So with Jake, I guess, as far as I know, man, you work in fruit and veg, but like, I feel like a piece of shit. But like, I'm like one of your good mates, and I really don't know the depth of what you do, besides the fact that you like do a lot of paperwork at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, so I'm a buyer for a fresh produce wholesaler. So we supply supermarkets and restaurants and pubs and stuff like that with fresh produce, primarily fruit and veg.
Yeah.
All over WA. So can't name too many places, but yeah.
A bit of a plug happening
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, we have places in Bustleton, Exmouth, Kalgoorlie.
When you buy fruit, are you like going there and
Yeah.
investigating every little?
Yeah, so the people that I deal with, they're agents, and they deal directly with
This
the
is
farmers.
like very FBI.
Yeah, the
No,
agents.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
secret
It's
society.
really
Very
not.
well.
It's really not. So I'm sure you guys have all driven past Canterville markets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just
Absolutely no idea.
You've never been.
No, when I drive,
She's
I'm
north.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
true.
also,
Okay.
it's like I don't know where I'm going.
So it's a massive site basically where farmers send into agents and other places their produce, and they sell it to people like us. There's a lot of like independent stores that go through there, and they'll buy their own products. Pubs, restaurants, the same. But there's also a lot of wholesalers that are in there as well. So that's what I do.
I'm
Do they,
probably going to get burned at the stake for my vision of this, but I'm just picturing, because Tony Gallardi, you'd say, is the undisputed image
see.
of fruit and veg. You
That
reckon?
would be probably
I'm picturing
correct.
a very
in WA,
underworld operation.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
I
like
do- I
the
see it
FBI
both.
there.
But
Yeah.
Jake's mentioned agents, so I'm just picturing like guys that look
Agents
like
is
Tony
the-
Gallardi walking around with earpieces,
No.
doing a full Liberace. Like,
Agents is probably
Sunny.
the glorified term for it. I think it's but that's what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
They are agents to these farmers. So.
I'm not gonna lie, I have seen how these markets operate and stuff like that, and it's chaos.
A
Like,
lot of my friends think like when I started there, originally I was just a labourer in a forky, and like a lot of my friends used to think that it was just like I was going in between stalls with like boxes of tomatoes and stuff. And it's like, but
That's
it's
literally what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
no. It's like there's like much faster and bigger scale than that. So
do you get people like coming and like checking out your tomatoes and fruit, like thumb punching them as well? Like,
Yeah,
like,
I
just,
mean-
like, how firm they are.
Thumb
Like,
punch is just like the most aggressive.
yeah, it is. You know, like you get people
you
in
do.
Coles. Like that's the most probably like public source of
Yeah.
seeing
Do
this
you think-
spectacle. I reckon.
You know, like the grape thing. Like
Yeah.
I eat the grape before I buy the grapes,
yeah, so
and my boyfriend thinks it's like theft.
Well,
No,
you're
no,
shedding
'cause-
weight.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's a weight reduction.
Yeah,
Like,
I need to know. I need to know.
Well, for us, no. So we walk onto the floors. They're called floors. So all these places that we buy from are floors, and they display a lot of their fruit and veg. So quite often you taste and you see before you buy a lot of things. So
Is it like
Yeah.
fancy? Is someone like following you with like a little apple?
No,
and
no,
herring and
no.
or is it like
or is it more
it's-
like an auction house?
um,
Because I know, like, with like Japanese sushi restaurants and
Yeah.
stuff, like
it's more
the
a
tuna.
traditional. It's more a traditional market.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like now, like going back probably 20 years before I used to be there, like it'd probably be a bit more like people yelling at you from the side of their floor, like I'll come over here, come buy these prices and stuff like that. But now it's a lot of it's done by phone. So you do, as much as you do walk up and you see the fruit and veg and whatnot, you still make a lot of phone calls and stuff like that away from the floor. So
Yeah, yeah.
have you
for
ever
sure.
made a really bad buy and like your boss was like, "What the fuck? You didn't test the grapes. These are awful."
so
These bananas are already brown, bro. What are you doing?
look, I reckon my boss would probably have a few words to say on that. But yeah, look, I think it's all part of learning, really, isn't it? In any industry, you're going to make mistakes.
That's too stressful for me. Actually, run a multi-million-dollar company would not want
Yeah,
your job.
Yeah, it's
Oh, actually,
it is very stressful. But
like-
it has its benefits too. It's good fun. It's
Yeah,
very good
from
fun.
an insider perspective, I reckon Jake does have it pretty good. He's driving around in like this brand new Ford Ranger that his boss has just given him, and then he's really responsible about it. Like we go fishing, and like he'll be like, "Hey man, do you smell like fish? Because like I don't want you in the car," kind of thing. Like,
Hey,
and I'm like,
I've
man,
got
like,
I've got hand sanitizer and some deodorant if you
I
want
was
to
just
check
like,
that on.
like me,
I
like
love
coming
that.
from like a third world country, I don't know how to tell him I smell bad. Like,
I will say, when we got into your car on the way here, it smelled like a brand new car.
yeah,
it
he's
smells
done well.
brand new.
He's like, he told me this story. He's like, I go to my boss and I tell him like everything I do on the weekend in the car, and my boss is just like, bro, don't come back to me unless there's an
Yeah.
issue with the car.
I'm very yeah, look, I'm very cautious and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
want to do the right thing. But yeah, like it's
Yeah,
a good
no,
car. It's very
I'll
much
I'll
hands
give
up.
you credit for that.
I want to
I'll give
keep
him
it
credit
in
for
good
that full
nick.
praise. Yeah, yeah. I back that.
I'm in like this weird space where I think that everyone is like on purpose, like doing shitty things.
Nah.
So you've given me some hope. You're like, no, I appreciate the car. I appreciate me giving it, and I'm not going to be a shithead about it.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Is I suppose my past record is probably not the best. So there's always time to change that around.
And I reckon I'll give Ash a little the opportunity to introduce herself, and I guess like yourself being just like a part of the friend group.
I don't know.
Introduce yourself as a member of the public. You're representing the public.
I'm representing the public. I guess you could say I'm a pretty standard Australian female. Clearly, I mean, drive a Holden Commodore. I'm a tradie.
What kind of tradie?
I'm a painter. Yeah, it's hard work. Don't recommend it.
She's painted half my back door and like not finished it yet.
Oh my God,
so I'm still waiting. So the invoice hasn't been sent out yet.
Yeah,
commodity. You were a commodity.
I mean, you and Ronnie got COVID.
Yeah, that is true. I got COVID.
Oh, really?
For a bit, yeah. It absolutely rinsed me.
Has anyone else here gotten it yet?
No.
I'm convinced I'm invincible.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
am
me
I.
too. Yeah.
I've now moved from like, oh, I'm pretty cool to like, I am a superhero. I'm not gonna
You can't bring me down.
No, and also, to be fair, in the back of my head, I'm like, never test, never know.
Yeah. I don't want to go too like in detail with the whole COVID thing because of like I do want to publish this on Spotify and they're hell like anal about it as well.
You
like,
don't want to have the little sticker.
No.
Yeah,
so I like I will say this: I'm vaxxed 4 times with 2 different vaccines.
Oh, that's not confident.
I definitely got conned into it, but I won't go into depth about that because I don't want to get sued either.
I love it. I'm like, everyone get a jab, just fucking go and get it done. I would like if we could line up the whole country and just like, like in like a forcible manner and like da 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 da. I just think it's like the best thing going forward.
That really made me feel like I was at home because like. That noise that came through, it sounded like a gong. I was like, ooh, who's got the bangers, man?
Like, don't you reckon if everyone just got it and was like, just did it, it would be faster and easier and we wouldn't have been doing all of this for like 2 freaking years?
Yeah.
Like, we're all here now and it's going really well, props to the government. And like, could we not have just cut the shit and just did it?
I think we're in a really good stage now.
Yeah.
Your business?
Yeah, that was going to take the words out of my mouth.
So, like, you know, obviously in huge mental ways, like mental being like large, but it's give and take. Like businesses in general, just difficult always. So you can't really like cry over spilled milk is like my theory. But Victoria obviously was hit way harder because they didn't listen, in my opinion. Yeah. And there's like a lot of vibes. It's like you're really awesome for getting away with it, or like, you know, let's have a party, see what we can do. And it's very anti-authoritarian, like authoritarian. I can't say that. Yeah. And so like they kind of like hyped each other up to be shitheads. Yeah. And I was like, oh, for heaven's sake, if you just stay at home, do what's like you're supposed to do, stop going to freaking protests and things like that. We just chill out, do what you're told for like 2 weeks, buddy. And I swear, if you just do what you're told, go get your vaccination, and we can all go home. Yeah. Actually, the opposite. We can all leave our home. So I think like they got themselves into trouble a lot. But again, their population is bigger. There is more of them. There was more travel, less restriction, da-da-da-da. But like, I just think WA is a shining example of how this could have gone. Yeah.
I think though, like with the little bit of extra time that we allowed ourselves to kind of watch how they went and then make decisions based on it. Which is huge. Which is huge for us. So like, I mean, I don't really agree with everything our government's done in terms of that, but we made some pretty good decisions, I think, at the start.
Yeah, and my thing is like, let's just not throw another fucking opinion out there.
Yeah. It's hard to keep that momentum of good opinions, like good choices too. Like, I think for old Marky as well, like that's a tough spot to be in. I mean, spotlight every day.
I don't think like whatever decision he made would have gone.
Yeah, working on.
Also, that's like, it. Just fucking listen, okay? Like there is one guy in charge. Just accept that it's not you, and you and your little opinion, Susan. Like it's not gonna help. Yeah. So just shut the fuck up.
I hear things like I see things like if you ever want to get triggered, man, you go to a 7 News post, any post, right? And you just go to a comment section and you just see it.
I do it a lot.
You just see the community of people that have just like learnt how to use technology recently, and then like or like learnt what it's like the concept of being edgy, and you're seeing that like that just travels through generations. And you see the older generations now, that are no disrespect, but like they're actually trying to be very edgy in the comments, and they're like calling Mark McGowan like a tyrant and stuff. And like I came from a country, like we left my country because like it was dictated by the military, and like I was like, man, like, do you know what that looks like? Like kind of thing.
Do
like,
you know what that word means?
Yeah. It's just like I don't think by any means like he's trying to be like a supreme leader kind of thing. Like
and like I'm South African, I'm an immigrant, so like Omicron. Like I watched my whole freaking family never leave their freaking house, probably for a year, like more. Their restrictions over there are insane, and like they didn't have access to the things we have access to. And I understand everyone gets an opinion, and I respect your ability to have an opinion. I don't respect people who can't then just do as they are asked when we are all asked to do one thing.
Yeah.
So I get it. And like your body, your life, your choice, whatever, I understand all that. But sometimes it's like this is one of those situations people ask you about, like if you had to save one person who, that was the moment. That was the moment to just not worry about you. Just do what you're told, whether or not you like it or not. Like when you're 5 and your mum's like, eat the broccoli because it's good for you. You don't want to do it.
the little trees.
But you just do it. You just do it for the greater dang good. And like at the end of the day, would a government really be poisoning us all and doing all of this? And what help is it to create everyone like this like fearful, like I think some people genuinely were like actually whacked out by it. Like their whole brains were like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I don't want to get a vaccination.
Well, it's scary. Like I can totally respect that for people like it's like a mandate is just going to definitely like scare the shit out of you if you don't know nothing about it.
100%. But like, how did someone who's had COVID, like, can you definitely say that there was a lot of fear mongering going on? I was a little bit
like I felt like Thanos from the Avengers with like all my vaccines.
You sounded sick for a bit there.
I was hopping on Discord, like, which is like a little like
I love Discord. Don't
So like Jake and I would get in the chat, and then like we just like have a talk to each other, and I would hop on, and I would just sound like one of those like cigarette commercials with like the thing like in your throat that helps you talk. Felt like I was talking through a zoo. I wanted to actually like particularly mention. I forgot to mention that I do want to focus also like share a bit of time talking about mental health as well. And that it's like I guess about working in the industry. I'll touch base on you as well because I know you start ridiculous hours and like how that would affect you. But how did this like all affect you? Like all the challenging stuff and the hurdles in the last year.
Look, so like. I just don't think that you could say my mental health was good to start off with, and that was kind of how like I was already like
it was like that when I got here.
And so you put things in place to just like cope. You're like, yeah, cool, I got this, don't stress. But I'm someone who like just keeps going and going and going and going and going until I get to the end, and then I process. Like the problem with that is like it doesn't stop, does it? So I don't really know if we processed, but Christmas. This year, I was like, oh, things are starting to like get back to normal. Like, okay, cool. And I was sort of like, oof, that was a lot. Like, that was a lot. And like, personally, I'm responsible for so many people. And I laid a lot of my own cash on the line, like millions, so that these kids could come to work. Because, and like, the funny thing is, a lot of them live at home. They're not dependent. Like, but to what extent, like, they go to work every single day and they do their job. This is my job. My job is to make sure that you can keep going to work. And if it costs me, like, and I'm the sole director, so any money spent is mine. It's not shared. There's no, multiple burdens. It's just mine. And realistically speaking, I should have closed Victoria. That would have been the financially most sound thing to do. And then just started again, like now. But it was 2 years long. It's a long ass time. And we had, like obviously everyone's motivations are different. But we had people come for the JobKeeper, and then when they couldn't get that, they were humping onto the next the next benefit, or then the shortage of staff happened, and it was like who could give me what. And my love for my kids, I call my kids, is unconditional. I just froth these little humans, but learning that theirs was conditional back was the most mentally screwy thing because. These kids are like, we've got you. I'm like, I've got you. I'm going to do all of these things for you. I'm going to put myself through literal pain to get it sorted. And then the minute someone else had a better fucking offer, JobKeeper was gone. I was like, wait, what? So, like, that's not two ways. And it's like, no, because you're an employer. And it is what it is. And you have to, like,
It is, yeah.
You have to respect that.
But that also goes into the depth of taking the role of parent as well as that
I'm
kind of
everything.
Thing. Yeah. Like
I'm a therapist. I'm a lawyer. I'm a mum that they would prefer. I'm an older sister. I'm a dad. Like everything. I'm a handy woman.
Like I look at my daughter as well. Like the same.
I'm sorry, you have a child?
I have a child. Yeah, a lot of people get like that. Like
you just look too young.
A lot of people actually like.
He doesn't age. That's something
it's that Asian magic. Hey, like you know that like those memes about Asian women, how they just turn 50 and it just transitions. Like that. Like,
are you waiting? Are you in fear of it?
No, so I had a child.
See?
I'm still only 27. I had a kid when I was 17, 18, and she's 9 now.
Nice, and does she need a job?
Leah. And this is a funny thing. She's probably going to listen to this later on and so I'm Burmese, and I'm like having my personality being as like immature as I am. I named her Leah because I just thought it was a pretty name, and like both parents, we just like agreed to it, and went with it, like pre-planned it, of course, and then I like came out and I'm like, looks like a Leah. So
can you say that?
But yeah, I kind of like broke it down into 2 syllables, and like when you do that in Burmese, it means itchy penis. And like I'm just kind of like,
oh no.
Yeah, sorry, bombs here, eh?
Your child just can never ever go back.
I don't think she'd want to. I think she lives a pretty cushy life here.
Oh my god!
I was just before we got sidetracked. I was just trying to actually say, kids will always be conditional. But I'm a real piece of shit for not thinking this through with the whole name thing now.
Wow!
I hope she saves this. You must like record it for her, put it in like a little box.
Yeah, this is really backfired on me, this podcast. Well, take it away, Jake. I reckon, how do you go, like, waking up hell early and stuff? Because I actually, like, Jake is hot property. Like, what we do is, like, we're in the Discord, we just, like, have a good yarn. He's trying to do work. We're trying to steal his time. I'm sending him like links to like videos and stuff.
Yeah, getting YouTube links.
I'm like sending him pointless shit that doesn't like even.
Is this like during work hours?
No, so I do a fair bit of work at home.
Yeah.
Just to try and, I don't have to, but it helps me get in front for the next day.
Yeah, that mentality
do you want to throw me under the bus and just tell them what I've been sending you, like links of, like just like multi-million-dollar homes that just like it's just so irrelevant to us right now.
Anything to throw me off track. Can get me with.
I was trying to motivate you to get there and get your work done and be like, yeah, man, I'm going to finish this
paperwork.
Got it. House,
My problem is that if I don't do the work the night before, I mean, I'm like the suppliers that I send my orders to, they're up at like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And with COVID and, I mean, we've just come through summer, massive heat waves. Yeah. So a lot of that plays on effect with supply, obviously. So if I get my order to them too late, then I can't get the stock for the shops. Yeah. So ideally, the best chance for me to stay in front of the suppliers is to do it the night before. So
yeah. See, like I make this decision a lot too. Like I usually work from like 9 a.m. to like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like that's like my working day. But like half the time I'm like I love Sundays because I'm like, oh, I get ahead of my work. Like I just want everyone. But now people are starting to reply to me on a Sunday.
So
and I'm like,
it just starts to build back up.
This was my day. This was my day off, babe. Where I'm supposed to be contacting you, you're not supposed to be contacting me back. I'm trying to get through my 3 million emails without a reply. Yeah. But now there's yous out there. Yeah. I'm like, no, you're encroaching on my day.
I really feel like there's a business deal happening here.
I have a really strict rule as a tradie. Like I'll do the same. I'll message back, but if you reply to me, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Monday.
I knew I invited you for a reason. You've got value, man. Like I'll say there's this. I don't know if you guys know. So I did my research up on Britt, and I was like, okay, what am I going to talk about with Britt? Like, I was just like, I better pay some like attention to like her career kind of thing. So I did the old Google, and there's a news article, and it just said that. Like it was kind of like a brief rundown on like how you started, and it just said like what did you make? $5 million turnover when you were 20? How old are you now? Sorry,
I'm 28 now.
28 now.
So I started when I was 23.
Yeah.
And I started with Northbridge. That was like my first one. And like I just sort of irritated everyone into letting me use that spot, and then chucked my container there because I was like shit scared that this thing was going to go pear-shaped. And with a container, I can take it back. I can go sell it, I can move it, I can do whatever I need to do to be like adaptive. Because the first investment on Pretzel was all my own money. It was $100,000 that I had squirreled and saved from all of my work doing freelance, design stuff and photography. And then basically, if I got to, I can liquidate, right? But if you fit out someone else's commercial property, they own it, essentially. It's quite difficult to backtrack that one. So I started at Northbridge, and it was the worst thing I've ever done. But to be...
Was that due to
because of the area?
No, I'm a big fan.
The local flora and fauna.
I love it in Northbridge. It is, just so nostalgic. I know everyone thinks it's like a crazy place, and like it is. There's a lot going on, but like the people in there and like the little community, and they're like the most genuine.
That's how I feel about Fremantle. People are like, oh, Freo, and I'm like, I fucking love Fremantle.
Yeah, see, I have that. I don't have that for Freo as much, but I definitely have it for Northbridge.
I do see what you're saying. Like, I don't love this place, but I feel the same way about Armidale. No, because you go through there.
I grew up around there.
You're told that it is the biggest hole.
Actually, no, I agree.
It's very pretty. Like, you drive through Gosnells, it's got like very piney kind of like vibe and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't need like the picturesque though. I'm like looking at like a shitty like over like grown bin thing.
You're like,
yeah, sure. There's like a few syringes popping out of the ground like dandelions.
Yeah, no, we're getting better. Northbridge is cleaning up. But anyway, so I started that one, and then I pretty much like sat myself down and was like, people go to jail like for longer than your lease, which was 6 months. So I was like, okay, done, deal. You can do jail. So we're just going to do like an outside of jail. Yeah. But to be fair, I was just a lazy little shit. Like I thought I was going to go in there and I was going to like, make this thing, poof, bam, someone would know what they were doing. I go the fuck home, sit on my couch, make money, play with my dog. Like that was what I thought was going to happen. And then when it didn't, I threw a temper tantrum. And I was like, this is awful, la, 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 la. Like,
You were how old at this point?
23.
23.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, bitch, probs, just put your pants on. That's all. I'm always known for not having pants on. I'm like, get out there and just do your dang job. So I ended up working like 19 hours a day for 365 days in a row. On the 366th day, I went to Tokyo. It's my favorite place ever. I was burnt out. Like I was dead. But I basically started loving it once I had settled on the fact that like it's yours now. And you have no idea what you're capable of until you do it. Working 19 hours a day is absolutely like just not an issue for me. I was on my feet in front of a hot oven. We were so busy. We got way more popular than I could possibly have handled. Yeah. I'm doing thousands of dollars worth of pretzels. Like, it was insanity. It was probably the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life, but it's, like, the thing I am most fond of. Like, I think a lot of people, like, the sentiment that, it's, like, girl boss, which I so hate. But, like, all that, it's just going to be, like, fucking easy. I'm going to be sitting in front of my computer. There's going to be beautiful, white shelves with green plants. Like, it's not like that. It's awful, but it's like such a pleasing awful. And like I try and like give that to my kids, and I'm like, Saturdays are busy, but like love it, like get in there, like love the shit. And that's like a hospo person is someone who can like be like, fuck yes, this is fucking awful. I love it.
Chaos.
But thrive in it. Exactly.
It's definitely a particular personality.
Yeah. I don't know if I will or if I'll implement it or anything like that, like when I edit this, but there are some pictures of Brit stores and they look fucking amazing. Like they look absolutely remarkable. Like if you've seen anything like the carousel one.
Yeah, I go to the carousel one.
That's what I was going to say because you mentioned design.
I design them all.
Yeah, I was going to say, did that play into that? That's awesome.
Yeah, so every single store is done. Like everyone's always like, why all pink? And I'm like, oh, because I can do whatever the fuck I want to then. Yeah. So like we have like a store in Carousel. It was initially like a space cowboy theme. Like I'm the only person who knows that. It doesn't come across. But it's like it's just getting revamped actually like this weekend, and it's turning into like a pink euphoria bathroom with like the whole COVID thing for like wash your hands.
Yep.
So like I get the opportunity to like reinvent, but my like Chapel Street one, I was like deep into Bates Motel. So I was like, fuck it, we're doing a pink motel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then my Eastland one, I was having like a little Miami Vice sort of moment, and I'm like, okay, cool, we're gonna do like a whole like. And so we don't have to be like the regular old, like another one that kind of looks the same, that looks the same, that looks the same, it's always pink. So people are like, oh, there's that pretzel place. Yeah. Sometimes it does get confusing and people are like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's not a problem. Like,
you don't know us?
I'm not stressed about it. And like the Karen Up one is like a New York
I've been to
Yeah,
that one.
I went to that one
Yeah,
the other day.
That was cool.
Amazing. That whole shopping
The
centre.
whole the whole shopping centre's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Wow.
they did a phenomenal job.
They
Like
did.
I've seen a lot of developments. That's just top
Yeah,
notch.
I'm a painter, but like, not gonna lie, I kind of would love to go into design. So when I went to Karen Up, I was like, oh my god,
I went to
amazing.
I caught up with a mate.
I love this place.
I caught up with a mate recently. Did some like cute boy stuff and went out for brekkie. And went
shit.
went to this cafe in there called Il Americano or something like that. And it's next to a furniture store, which like is completely bizarre.
Oh,
Like, it's
Cocoa
like
Republic. It's beautiful as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yep.
Girls,
Although you
girls
shouldn't-
froth anything with the name Coco in it, though, don't they? Coco Chanel, Coco Pops. No, but
I found out that Coco was a Nazi the other day.
Oh,
Wow.
Side story.
I love the.
That's an interesting
yeah,
fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say yes.
Charlie looks
She
shocked.
was a Nazi sympathizer.
I'm part
I would
German,
press
so
it.
I'm part German, so that's
It was shocking.
yeah, no skin off my back. Oh, I'm brown.
See, went to the cafe next.
Yeah,
to
yeah. I just
you
felt
should
like
have gone to Priestess.
I feel like that area just reminds
You know
me.
my cafe's up there too.
Yeah,
I
see,
knew
I
when
didn't
you
know
said
you had
that-
all these businesses until
When you
I-
said that, I was like, I'm sure I saw that somewhere the
Like
other
the
day.
beautiful
Yeah.
bougie one upstairs with the big priestess at the back.
Right. I'll definitely check it out because I'm
Yeah,
always
same.
on
It's
like
beautiful. It's stunning. It's my best work yet.
it's. I'm not proud of this, but I eat out more than I
Yeah, me too.
actually cook.
I'm
now.
such a
Yeah.
like coffee
Yeah.
and cafe
Yeah, me
slut
too.
too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
People are like, "What's your hobby?" I'm like eating at places, like genuinely. Like, and I just like to go. I like to see the cutlery. I want to know what frickin' plates you're using, the cups and the shit and the branding and the place and the stuff. Hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole area in Karrinyup, it just reminds me of like some like you know those like grand train stations that you see in like one of the like movies, like just be like an Italian train station or something.
You know what it is? It's just like what most places have
Yeah.
that we never have.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's like not Perth, but like
Yeah.
finally, but
Yeah.
Where-
And even like priestess, like it was this like conversation with my own brain because like generally we think we're like, oh, coffee's only good if it comes on a high street.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, shopping centre coffee, absolutely not. Why would you do that?
No.
And then, yeah, and but I'm like, look, to be fair, these places now, it's not just a shopping centre. They are providing you a whole freaking experience. And people like are like, you know, very resistant to the shopping centre thing. Same with Pretzel. Like, oh, you used to be cool because you were in Northbridge, but now you went to a shopping centre. I'm like, bro, they pay my bills.
yeah,
And like,
Yeah.
it's
That's a place to be.
yeah, and they give you like shopping centres
Convenient.
support
Yeah,
you with
very convenient.
contributions.
It's
They give
crazy.
you mad cash to do exciting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I have made Princess like it's a close to $600,000 fit out? Absolutely not. I could not have done that on
Yeah.
you know Oxford Street in Leederville or whatever. No one's got the money to give me that. Does AMP? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, do they believe in it? Do they support it? Is that what their vision is? Yeah. So they're like really pushing this idea that they're like hubs rather than like
that food court
Yeah.
area up there
Oh,
is
it's stunning.
amazing.
Crazy, yeah,
There's
yeah.
trampolines in the ground.
But also all those vendors are like good ass, homegrown, know what they're doing vendors.
Yeah.
They do, like the people who do the leasing there are top notch, and they don't go out and be like, "Hey, you're a human from somewhere like that runs a franchise. You wanna get in?"
Well, me and Gabby, we were up there the other day, and I sort of like I didn't know where to go because I was like, everywhere looks so good, and
Yeah.
I want to try them all. They didn't. It wasn't just your.
It's very hard to choose,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
Which
were
is-
places that I hadn't seen or heard of before.
which is a really good strategy for the center because often you find an influx. I've done everything,
Yeah.
and a complete lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then those businesses that invest in that development are left thinking like, "Oh my god, we're making so much money!" Da, da, da,
And then
da.
it just stops.
Yeah. Whereas Karrinyup has got longevity.
Yeah.
You can keep going and going and going, do different things, learn different things, and we can share.
So I've noticed when like Carousel did their redevelopment, a lot of like even like the small stores that were kind of look, you wonder how they were making their money. Like they remained after their
Yeah.
development, but like the stores
Little
looked
phone
like
stalls in the middle.
Oh, they're so
the shifty,
interesting.
the shifty like snapback stores that like sell like
Yeah.
off brands.
There's definitely people for the shifty snapback though. You know?
Yeah, no,
There is-
100%. Some people like a shifty snapback.
Also,
you
it's
know?
about knowing what you do.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
the fact that you even know about the shifty snapback,
Yeah.
you're like, you don't have to participate, but they are so clearly communicating
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's how you make money. They're like,
100%.
this is what I do. You don't have to like it.
That's what I mean. That's what I was trying to get at because like after all this like redevelopment, right? Even these stores that you think that like they were struggling to keep afloat, they came back with like new storefronts and stuff and new decor and everything. And it's like, I think it goes back to what you were saying. These shopping centres are giving you a grant to keep it, bring your store up to a standard of where they want it to be.
Yeah.
And actually, while I've got you, the carousel one, I will make a formal complaint.
Yes.
The swing there, it says 100 kilos.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I was.
Not really. You could be like 500 kilos and sit on that thing. Will I defend it in court though? No.
Does your insurance cover it?
Yeah, exactly. So I spend a lot of time in court, so I'm absolutely like I'm annoying and I'm pig-headed. So like when people like try and like, you know, little lawsuit here, little lawsuit there, because usually they put the lawsuit in because it's easier for me to give them cash than it is to go to court. I'm like, fuck you fucking scam. I will see you in court. And I do my own fucking paperwork.
Like,
I'm so good now.
I feel like in one of those situations, like, you know, when like you see what's happened, right? Like say someone fell over or something like that. And you go to see if they're okay. And then you hear what happens in court and how they've, like, depicted the story. Like, they've completely villainised you. And, like, you've gone over there to, like, see if they're okay. And it's just like, I've had the woman come up to me and, like, slap me twice in the face.
And also, you know what I mean? It's, like, it's so technical when you get to that level that it's, like, you know, we could have a person... Okay, so a sumo wrestler comes in and he's like... I could sit on that swing and I would definitely break.
Well, I did do that. I was that sumo wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was 85 kilos back then. And this was before I was taking care of my health and going to the gym and all that stuff.
How long ago was this?
I'd say it was about a year ago.
Okay.
I had a bit of a run-in with it. Because, you know, when you get like, this was totally not your fault, but I just wanted to share this story. I just had like an epiphany, you know. I was like, I need to sort my life out. I was sitting there looking at these pretzels, man, and I was like, man, this is kind of shit. What am I doing here? And I start in those swings, and you know when you go to a playground and they have like those bigger chains that actually hold the swings up, and when like the chain links kind of overlap kind of thing, and then like, they just go like they do the funk, like it did that for me, and I was just like, oh, fuck, I'm getting the fuck off of these things.
Yeah. We had to, like, chain the bottom down because people were legitimately swinging so far back that they were, like, hitting the wall behind them. I'm like, babe, it's a nib wall. It's just not, like
it's not brick and mortar.
Yeah, please, Jesus. And, like, you could just see, like, a line where they had, like,
slowly indenting it more and more.
Yeah.
That would have looked pretty funny for the hardware store. Like, it's just like this girl that runs Pretzel that goes in there buying chains. It's like, what do you do again? He's like, I make pretzels. It's like, this is going in my store. It's like, like welfare concerns for her workers.
Basically, that store, we painted everything. Because, like, I learn as I go. Painting dumb, stupid, absolutely terrible.
It's got a real rustic look, hey?
Yeah,
I like it.
So, like, we are repainting the whole thing, and we're, like, doing tiles, and we've got, like, proper, like, powder-coated kickboards and stuff. We need to powder-coat the seat and everything. Because, like, back in that day, I was like, oh, well, I went from containers to an inline store, and I designed them. My boyfriend George, he's a drafty. So he does all the drafting, I do all the designing. And I was like, yeah, paint it. I love paint. Pink.
I've never said that at work before. I love paint. I guarantee.
I froth it. But then I was like, oh, God. Within, like, 6 months, we had to repaint literally every 3 months. It started getting, like, every month. Then my kids started giving it a go, and you're just like, oh, patchy everywhere. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Painting is one of those things I would happily pay someone to do.
Yeah.
Like,
you should understand how many people say that to me.
Yeah.
No, well, like I'm
often.
Oh, well, like, you know, it's in my DNA to be thrifty, you know. So like, I'd like to squeeze every penny and like have a DIY job every now and again. But painting just shits me out.
It's like deceiving.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
It's not. Every time
it's definitely not fun.
One of my friends is like, it's a new house, and they're like, oh, you want to paint it? I'm like, do you know how to cut in? And they're like, sorry, what? And I'm like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, if
you don't know what the term cutting in is, which is actually...
Don't pick up a paintbrush because you don't know what you're doing, and it's going to be horrendous. Like, if you don't know the bare basics, babe, like, stop it. Just because you were allowed to paint when you were 3 at preschool does not mean you should be
Oh, my God. My first day as a painter was enlightening.
Yeah, cut in. Was that the first thing? They're like, let's show you how to cut in.
I worked for my family, so my stepdad's like, yeah, I'll just get you to cut in the corners. I was like,
sorry,
where are the scissors?
Yeah. But I painted one of my friends had like a paint party. Oh, she lost her mind because there was so many of us. So that was like the first irritation was there's too many cooks in this kitchen. And then she had carpet, but we were like putting like we didn't get like a proper fabric. You should have a fabric like, what do you call it? Like a
Drop
drop sheet?
drop
Drop
sheet.
sheet.
Yeah, we had like the little plastic ones, and it was on carpet. So like when you step, it'll come back.
Yeah.
And then like they were like, we'll pay for pizza. You go have drinks. I'm like, first of all, don't be drunk. She doesn't know this, and I don't think she'll. And I hope she won't. I don't know. I hope
Did
she
you
won't.
walk into that room and just confirm we are painting, right?
Yeah. Well, like me and my friend Darren are in there, and like Darren has a beer. He accidentally like shoots this beer like across all of the walls. It's in her bedroom as well, and like she was so mad that we were like, we can't tell her. So it's like the walls are wet and like covered now in beer, and we're just like painting over it furiously.
I would have
like
done the same.
So,
I would have just mix it in.
and when I go to her house, I'm like, is it peeling? Is there like anything?
It's holding up really well.
Yeah, it's doing really.
My wall's got dermatitis, man.
I'm like, I have no idea why it smells like beer in here. I have no idea. No. But yeah, don't do your own painting, and don't let other people.
That's a very good life lesson.
Also, if you are going to spend like what, it's like $500,000 to build a house these days.
Yeah.
Just pay the $5,000 to paint
yeah.
it. Come on,
Yeah.
just make sure your
I
mortgage
get
takes it.
so like, they're like, how much to paint my house? And I'm like, oh yeah, like,
well,
$5,000, whatever. People are like, and I'm like,
It's a fuck ton of work.
it's going to
babe.
last for like 20
Yeah.
years. You
Well,
just
I was around that industry for quite a bit, working in project management, and then like I hear about all these people like wanting to do big things to their house and they can't because like you'd like to have that money left over, but you know what? They've spent all their money putting an extra PowerPoint in their house and like all these different rooms. Like it costs you an arm and a leg. Like building sounds awesome, and like that's what they do. They try and suck you in the market
Until you
build a house and stuff. Yeah, and then like everything that you want to change, like that comes with the house.
And then when
A
you move
variation
into the house,
So
it's just
the
like yellow
margin
sand.
markup.
Oh, there'll be
Yeah.
an extra $15,000 just to add that there.
It's called a variation cost, and it's really common that they will hit you up with things that it and like I'm super educated on the system. I've built 15 places, but like anyone who doesn't know would go through that and be like, oh, everything's catered for, cool. Like my boyfriend's grandma, whatever, she's building a house, they included insulation in only 2 rooms as standard.
Is that like?
The whole house has to be
Are
insulated.
they allowed to do that though?
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
I can't believe that I think it's weird that a house doesn't come sealed.
Yeah.
Like the plaster walls don't come sealed because do you know how many people paint their own house and don't know that they need
They should
to be sealed?
sanding as well.
Yeah.
They're getting ripped off because mine came with complimentary asbestos.
Hey, you're so lucky. Like they don't sand them down, they don't seal them, they don't
do nothing, and no one knows to do that stuff. Like I didn't know that before I became a painter. So then people go and do all their own paint jobs, and they're like, "Why is my paint peeling off like a year after I put paint on the wall?" Because you didn't prep it, you didn't seal it, man.
Yeah.
Pretzel's opening in July at Curtin University because I'm alumni.
That's a cool
there.
spot.
Is this the first is this the first bit of lowdown?
Actually, it is.
Ooh.
But that's like my last store for a really long time because of the building material increases.
Yeah.
It's gone up 28% to like steel and metal and like all fit outs are steel and metal. Metal and timber, that's it. That's what we're made from. So if you have a $300,000 fit out and you want to add 26% to that.
That's a lot of money.
Exactly. Like we work in such big sums
Yeah.
that when, Les is like, hey, you want to come do here? You want to come put in a store here? It's like it's no longer commercially viable.
Yeah.
Babe, I can't because I'm going to have to pay my tradies through the dang roof. They are going to be late and I'm going to lose money. We know it. And I'm not paying 28% more for things. Like I'm not. So I'm waiting for everyone to relax and then we'll get back at it. But how that works economically, I don't know. But
That's impressive. I'm impressed that you know a lot about this stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot about
Honestly,
a lot.
I'm impressed by you as a person.
How,
definitely.
I think this would be like a pretty good question to ask after all, like discovering all this about Brit. But how did you, when you after like you would have opened that restaurant, your first pop up at 23 it was. I was listening, right? So I could imagine you didn't know a lot about operating a business and stuff like that. How did you swim instead of sink?
I brute force.
Brute force and good floaties.
Yeah, honestly. But to be fair, I didn't have any degree, like business related at all.
Yep.
But my background in branding is really strong, and I would say that 90% of business is branding.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what I'm doing there. And I've got it on lock, and I'm a smart person. I really am. I'm quite intelligent. I think about a lot of things. And I try and make considered decisions. So every decision I'm faced with, I just try and look at straight in the head and be like, okay, what's the best decision going forward? Did I fuck up a lot? Sure, a lot. Like even just recently, like Victoria, and having flown over there after the COVID like lack of visibility, fuck up. That was a fuck up. That was a big fuck up. The whole place is a bit of fuck up. But I'm fixing it. So like, you know, I'm human though. So I make these kinds of mistakes and I do those sorts of things. But I didn't have any formal training, and I just sort of, to swim, you keep going. You just keep going, I think. And I think a lot of people don't really recognize the time and the hours and the effort that goes into these sorts of things, like in hospo particularly. And it's so, like, I mean, like the fact that I just like go and get my little grape. Like, I didn't think about the process of getting that grape to me. And that's like the same thing like with hospo. People don't, which is so on a tangent, but I hate Google reviews. Unless you have something
it's a personal,
nice to say.
personal
it really
opinion.
is.
And also,
it really takes a vengeance, like on like businesses.
And it's such a perpetuation of negativity. People like, I've loved places and I've never gone and been like 5-star. If someone hates something, they review you. That's
instantly, straight away.
That's the purpose of it. It's not actually for positivity. It's actually not.
You
for
would probably have to put in like 10 times the effort to get that positive review as well. You know? Like it is,
and also like the
because
people,
that's
mountain to climb
to a degree though. That's standard though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like the kids I fuck with, like I mean, people I fuck with, like my customers, we are not fucking with Google.
But like I must admit, like, because I think you are responsible for your own self-development, and your own, like the cap is what you set yourself. Because I've discovered with myself in recent years, like I was never always in the position where I am today, and I just thought like, you know, like I'm trying to pull myself up on it when like I'm like ignorant to, you know, learning something new. And I've always been that guy. It's like even like you probably see that even on a social level, where it's like we talk about something and I'll go and Google it. Like just it's not to be right. It's not to be right or win the argument or anything. It's just like to educate myself really. Like, and it's like if I want to know how something works, I'll go out and try and find out.
Yeah,
and I think you need that mentality. Yeah,
it's
you got to be
like
hungry.
A common comment I get like with pretzel in like the beginning, and people are often like, oh, it's surprising that you use this, or it's surprising that you do that. That works really, really well. But like my naivety actually was genius, because a lot of the time when you have a business degree or whatever, you're like, okay, and then I go and use this, and then I go and do this, and then I go and do that. Does it actually make sense though? Do they consider every step? No. Did I have to consider it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing? Yeah. So I was
ridiculously.
I was put in a position to actually make better decisions. And like one of them was like Square. Like we use Square instead of like, you know, your traditional Tyros or, you know, like bank supported sort of FPOS machines. And because when I looked at it, I was like, it's cheap, it's reasonable, it's easy to access, they're fast payouts, and it's cheap. It's way cheaper. Also, I looked at the company and thought, look, this company's going places. And you know, now, had I not started with Square, some of the, like, so much is made so much easier by this company. So, like, they have integrations into everything. It's top notch. If I had started with, like, a traditional Tyro type of situation, would I have access to all the stuff I have access to now? No. But, like, everyone was very, like, oh, you did not take a traditional bank and a traditional FPOS machine? I'm like, no, the Square thing works just the same. And they're like, oh, but it is not. It's not
what we know.
Yeah. So I just like made a bunch of decisions like that, even the container. So many people are like, why the container? Like I had an issue. The issue was I didn't want to fit someone else's place out and lose all my money. So I thought, well, hey, container. Like I didn't sit around and think, this will look cute or it was a solution to a problem. And because I had absolutely no formal training, I had a fuck ton of problems. But like got to make reasonable, logical solutions to them that weren't dictated. And I think that's important. Like, but also you have to be able to be like grungy about it. Like you have to graft hard. And sometimes you're going to fuck up. You're going to make a real wrong decision.
Human error is a real thing.
But people don't look at us like that. No. They like look at me like I'm like a set of numbers, and someone dictated a bunch of this like there's fucking board meetings with like humans and like it's not. It's me on my couch thinking
with my dog.
Literally. And I'm like, that seems like the correct idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the further along you get, your risk is higher, and obviously like I'm responsible. It's a multi-million-dollar company, so I'm responsible for a lot. So you have to start putting in those checks and balances. I have people to be like, I'll hand them my solution and they'll be like, yeah, no, that's okay. You're not going to run the company in the ground tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool.
It's not going to kill me.
So like I have a little bit of help like that. But like, it's no formal training from my end, I suppose, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's actually nice to hear, because I have been a painter sort of like, do I want to start my own company and get people to work for me, but I'm like, oh, that's scary.
It's completely
It's
like
hard. You got to do it when you're ready.
Yeah.
Like I didn't start all of this because, you know, like I had an idea, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do media as well, and like get hospitality out there, especially in Perth, because we have such a rapidly growing food industry here. And I think
one
the
of the
media
best, I
side of
reckon.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Perth
Yeah.
thing, I thought you were complimenting me.
No.
I'm like,
And also-
sorry.
No, I reckon give Perth 10 years, we're going to be competitive.
Yeah. Like I saw that like as I was an apprentice chef, and like I just seen it grow. And then like you see where like media is going as well, and like how you can monetize a lot of things and stuff like that. And like the purpose of that is like why I'm doing this isn't for the money or anything like that. It's just simply I wanted to give an in-depth thought. Like I wanted to have intellectual conversation with people. And I think like that's just because it's been a big key to my success in the past. Like I think like the mentality that I have is like you have to be technical. You can't. A lot of people will choose to be ignorant because it's the easier way, and they'll be like, oh, it's too hard to like figure that out. Oh, that's above my pay grade or something like that.
Oh,
They
I
have to
hate
carry
that
risks.
sentence.
Yeah, exactly right.
risk.
My job.
Like, and I think it's also an ego thing as well of like being wrong, and like being wrong is okay because like it's going to help you develop
Yeah.
and like
100%.
move forward. It's educating you. If it's not a lesson, if it's not a blessing, it's a lesson. That's all I say.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Just be honest.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Help
100%. And like you have to be like that's a creative mindset.
I respect that.
Yeah.
That quality in someone that can be like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you
I've
tell
winged
me?
this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
As long as they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'd like to know.
I'd
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
know.
Not like, it's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you just want to not be fucking lazy and useless? Like,
Yeah, you know, like people just go like, "Oh, it's too hard." Like, you know, like you see that so often. You know?
Oh, that drives me up the wall.
And I think I'll have like it's affected the way that I have my conversations now. I don't know where to start and where to finish, or like where to place what I'm trying to say. And then halfway through, I'm saying something. It might just be my ADHD.
It's like it.
But I'll start getting really technical in the way that I talk, and then I'm talking to someone, and I'll just lose them,
Oh my god, all
and I'm
the
just
time.
like, fuck.
How do I regain him?
Yeah. I was just like, bag of chips.
I think that like I'm learning like it's the wrong audience.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
And like maybe some people that like traditionally were in my life for a reason, like they have to be for that reason. And if I want to go
We
and have a
are a
conversation,
real live test environment because like there's four people in here, and we're all like just bouncing off each other right now.
but people like there are people who don't like this.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes I feel like personally, like they think I'm trying to like lecture them, or like that I'm trying to like make me like feel better about myself or whatever. And I'm like, no, like I'm not here to be intimidating.
Yeah.
That's a you issue.
Yeah.
If you're intimidated by me, then that's on you.
How they're interpreting what you're saying.
Yeah.
This isn't like I'm not trying to like sound pretentious or anything. Like when I explain all that before, like it's not something you're born with. 100% no. Like it's something that you use the initiative to go out and figure out yourself.
Yeah.
And it was like a journey for me because like I grew up as a pretty troubled teen. Like
awkward, whatever.
whatever's brave.
Yeah.
Like, but I was pretty fucking dumb, man. Like I'm one of those Asians who's just terrible at maths. Like, you know, my English was impeccable because I had to infiltrate the country somehow.
Yeah.
But I didn't do well at school. Like, despite what everyone thinks. Like, and yeah, it's not about that. Like, I started working around business and operating like the high end parts of a company and stuff like that. And I sort of started to understand like working in projects and how we would go to market and do tenders and things like that. So that's what I do for a boring day-to-day job now rather than cooking. Yeah. And I was like, well, I can do that now. I can do that now with food. Now that I understand everything. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to give a platform. I wanted to give the people of the industry a voice because they don't have that. And I think it's an industry where it's like, it's such a grey area. Like a lot of people like don't get paid very well and stuff like that. You see things in companies in the news all the time, and like you see, you know, like owners get a bad rap and things like that. And I just wanted a bit of diversity. I wanted to like get people on the show, start talking about
Just so important.
all of it as well, and just like, you know, put a bit of light onto it, like, and just see the good stuff rather than all the
Also,
bad all the
I
time.
feel like you guys would have like countless just amazing stories. Just random story
literally
just in the hospital.
Probably why I do my job.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been
Some of
held
the
at
things you
night.
see.
Yeah, I mean, like I've worked a couple of I've worked a couple of festivals for like a friend of a friend. She does her own like a gating. It's called gated staff. She does like does all the
things.
The gating stuff.
The wristbands and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's when you would have the microphone. Yeah.
So like I've worked at a few festivals and stuff, and honestly, some of the
it's rough. It's close to what hospitality is.
Like it is. Like, and you know
I love
what?
it. Yeah, nothing the same.
Like
Never
my
the same.
friend Gabby, she got me on. She's like, honestly, Ash, it's so easy. And honestly, like, I might have had to stand for like a good 10, 12 hours, but that was the best thing ever. Yeah. Like, I loved it. Like,
I'll quickly fit this in because I'm just being conscious of time as well. We've got 5 minutes, but I had this story, like, it's from my apprentice days, and I wasn't driving back then and stuff like that, so I had to catch the train to get to where I was working as an apprentice chef at a restaurant. It was
public transport.
Yeah. And I was working these ridiculous hours, like, and I would finish at like 12 at night was where, like, you know, like I'd finally finish and get like out of work. I'd walk to the train station, and then I'd have to catch a train to Gosnells because I lived in Canning Vale at the time, and I had to catch a train to Gosnells because Thornley line was closed and I couldn't catch, like,
there's no train station
Uber back in the
out
day
there
either.
Yeah.
There was no Uber back in that day, and like I had this big duffel bag just full of like my chef knives and stuff, and every night I just used to like walk for 3 hours up towards Canning Vale, and these cops just like pulled over one day and like were just like, hey man, like what's in your bag? Like there's, you know, like obviously like being in a low socioeconomic area, like it's like
bunch of knives.
I was just like, man,
what do you ask?
That's exactly what I did, man. I was like, I've seen enough of this shit on TV. I'm not getting shot today. Like I was just like, bro, I'm gonna be completely straight up with you, man. Like I've got a whole bunch of knives in here.
We've got like 15 knives.
Yeah.
Don't mean to blow, man, but there's 15 knives in here. All in one sweep.
You know what I love though is like you only need one, really. So when someone's like they have 15, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I will believe you. Yeah.
No, I had the whole pairing knife set and everything.
Yeah, 15 is impractical. If you're a murderer, 15 too many.
So he has
hands.
They have a look through my bag, and they're like, I'll just put it on the floor and I just let them go through it. And I'm just like this young kid, like just like standing next to them and stuff. And they're like, so we've seen you like go through like past you a couple of times, like in the past couple of nights. Like why is that? And I was like, man, I work like obviously as a chef, as you know now. Like, knives are out the bag.
Yeah. Dad joke. I'm glad you actually have a kid.
Yeah. My ticket to these jokes. And then they just kind of like felt held bad for me, like, and they were like, oh, well, do you want to get in the back and like have a lift kind of thing? And I was like, yeah, no worries. So like they used to like take me home every night, and like the neighbours were just kind of like, if like they had like seen it, they would have been
I've been
like,
taken home a few times by the police.
They'd be like, they'd 100% be like, what is going on with this house? Yeah. There's cops there every day. But yeah, I think we got 3 minutes to like kind of wrap it up. How did you guys feel about the whole podcast?
Oh, I love it. No, I think it's really like, you know, people always go like talking about like representation and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. And like, it's like we're a 1%er. Like you, naturally speaking, just mathematically, me, one person, 300 employees. So like generally speaking, their voice is always louder. I mean, like I'm obsessed with my staff and I love my staff to bits and pieces. Does it mean that we don't have these situations where they fly off the handle, they hate me because something I did or said or whatever? No. It's like, you know, people 9 out of 10 times think that I'm a shithead and that I'm awful, and when I did something, like, how bad am I? But it's because there's one of me to 300 of them, and there's a lot of people in charge who I think feel similar to me, which is like, I'm trying my fucking best out here, babe. I also make mistakes.
It's hard to make the hard decisions.
Yeah, it is. And you're responsible for them, but I wasn't signing up to get bashed though.
Yeah.
Like, when you fuck up at my company, I don't go after you and tell everyone you know that you're awful and make lies about you, like. So it's nice to be able to be like, hey, you know, like I'm actually a person. There are people behind these things, and we don't wake up in the morning and think like, oh, what employee can I fuck off today? It's easier for me if you're all happy. So
it's super hard to get these guests and stuff like that, and I think we're pretty lucky to be able to start off this the series with
Again,
someone like yourself.
So kind.
No, but I think I'll thank all of you guys for coming on actually.
Thanks
and
for
just
having us.
It's been fun.
I think we'll have a good rotation of like our mates as well, because I think they just add a little bit of an extra touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's been super refreshing to see how collaborative you are and willing to work and
happy to help.
Based on the cause.
I love the cause.
The cause.
Really back the cause.
It wasn't. Yeah. Like, I think if she knew who I was as a person, she would have been like.
Yeah. Or vice versa. No one really knows me until I rock up.
No, we'd love to have you back when we do our little YouTube series and stuff.
Sure.
And
I'm here.
be able to do some
If
food
I'm
projects.
not in Melbourne, I'm here.
Yeah, on that note, did want to say happy birthday to Connor Madden.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
That was the shout out that we
Yeah, it
promised him.
was.
All right, see you later.